Hi, today we're going to be talking about fractions of a set. A fraction, we know, represents a part of a whole, but it can also represent a part of a set. And a set can be anything from all of the cars in a parking lot to all the field goal attempts taken to all the days in a month. It's really just a group of things. So if we're looking at fractions of a set, we're looking at something like 2/3 of 15. So 15 is your set. It is the total amount of things in the set. So that's all your field goal attempts. So 2/3 of that would be maybe you make 2/3 of all of your field goal attempts. And so we're looking at how many of those attempts did you make? Was it 5? Was it 10? Was it 15? What is it? So the 3 of 2/3 tells us the number of equal groups that we'll be breaking 15 apart into. And then the 2, we know numerators always tell us how many we're counting. So we're kind of taking the 15 of the set and kind of making that into one whole and looking at 2/3 of that. So the 2 tells us how many groups we're counting. So we're going to actually look at solving this using 3 different strategies. Our first strategy we're going to take our 15, our set, and we're just going to use circles to represent each of those things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here is all 15. So the 3 tells us the number of equal groups. So if I take this 15 and I break it apart into 3 equal groups, I would have 1 group, 2 groups, and 3 groups. And so we're looking to see, and I'm going to be counting 2 of those groups. So not 2 of the circles, but 2 entire groups. And so here's my first group, and in my first group, I have 5. So that's 1/3. Now in my second group, I have another 5. So if I'm looking at 2/3 of 15, I have 5 in 1/3 and 5 in my second third. So that's a total of 10. So 2/3 of 15 is 10. So that's one strategy we can use. A second strategy would be to take and break it apart into 3 groups to start, and then kind of evenly distribute that into those 3 groups. So I'm going to use a chart to do that. So I've broken it kind of into 3 groups, and so I have group 1, group 2, and group 3. And I'm going to evenly distribute my 15, my set, into those 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so I have all 15 evenly distributed into my 3 groups. So now, again, my 2 tells us how many of those groups we're counting. So I'm looking to count 2 of those groups. So how many are in each group? Well, again, we know there's 5 in each. And so if I take both of those groups and I put them together, I have a total of 10. Okay, so again, showing that 2/3 of 15 is 10. And in our last strategy, it is really similar to strategy 2, and you could set it up in a chart. But in this one, we're not actually using circles to represent each fifth of the 15. We're going to use more numbers. So again, you could do it in a chart, but in this case, I chose to represent 3 circles, but in this case, the circles represent the 3 groups. And so I'm really just kind of thinking to myself, all right, if I have 15 and I evenly distribute that into 3 groups, if I divide that apart into 3, how many go in each? And I know that 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I'm going to have 5 in each of my 3 groups. And now the 2 tells me how many I'm counting, and I'm counting 2 of those 3 groups. So again, 5 in one group, 5 in the second group makes a total of 10. So that is 2/3 of the 15. So that's 10. All right, you guys have been doing a great job. So now we're going to take a look at 2 more examples together. Feel free, oh yes, 2/3 of 15 is 10. Feel free to pause the video before you get started, try it on your own, and then kind of work through it with me to check your work. So in this one, I'm going to use strategy 2. Yes, so here I have 3/4 of 15, of 16. I have 3/4 of 16. And so again, the 4 tells me how many groups I'm going to be making, which is 4. So I've made 4 rows in my chart, and I am counting 3 of them. So again, evenly distributing the 16 into the 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 12 and there's 16. So now I've taken and I've put all 16 into my 4 equal groups. And so I know now that I have 4 in each group. And I want to count 3 of those groups. So in group 1, I have 4, in group 2, I have 4, and in group 3, I have 4. So 3/4 of 16 is 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 4 times 3, 12. So 3/4 of 16 is 12. All right, you guys are doing a great job. So now we're going to try to do 5/6 of 18 using strategy 3. Go ahead and give it a try and then continue the video. All right, so 5/6 of 18. You guys have made how many equal groups? Absolutely, we've made 6 because that's our denominator. And so if we take 18 and we evenly divide that into 6, how many goes in each group? Absolutely, there's 3. There goes 3 in each of my 6 groups. And now my numerator of 5 tells us how many of those groups we're counting. So I need to count 5 of those groups. And I just put a box around it to show me that that's the 5 I'm counting. Now, how many is that total of the 18? It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 5/6 of 18 is 15. All right, you guys have been doing an amazing job. You are so awesome. Give yourself a pat on the back for a really great job recording your notes. Now I'm going to have you give it a try. There are 2 more problems in your notes I'd like you to do. When you are finished, I'd like you to take a picture of your notes and make sure you put them into the slideshow so I can see how you're doing with this skill. And remember, we'll go over this in math class. So I'd like for you to go ahead and try 1/4 of 12 and 2/3 of 15 using any of the 3 strategies that we have gone over in this video. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you in math. Have a great day.